us. Marie, would you like to tell us why or the issue that you're bringing to the table?
Sure. My mother is going through some tough times right now with her family, so I'm just kind of coming to Amy to see what there might be in the cards for me to help guide my mom, suggest to her, help her with her issues in whatever way that I can.
And maybe help you.
And help me too, yeah.
As you're going through it too. So today we're using the Heart and Hands Tarot by Elizabeth Blackbird. And if you'd like to shuffle up the cards, I know you did a little bit of shuffling a minute ago, my first try. And Marie has decided to choose 3 cards. We're sitting in a hallway, so there's going to be a little bit of extra noise going on. All right, first card is the World, and this is for the material state. She's chosen a 3-card draw, a 3-card spread, I should say. The first position is the material state. And would you like to pick the other cards, or do you want to sit and look at this one for a minute? No hurry, honestly. So while she's picking another card, the World is a major arcana card, which means it's speaking to like a phase of spiritual growth. Here's the second card, which is interesting. That is one of the minor cards, which will be talking about a situation, more of a snapshot. And then the third card is another major arcana card. So that's interesting. As a rule, the way that I have interpreted the major arcana cards as things that you don't have a lot of control over. They're just like what you're engaging in your spiritual growth, like different areas of your spiritual growth that you're participating with. And then this is more like a very changeable snapshot of what's going on. So the first position is the material state, the second is the emotional state, and the third is the spiritual state that you find yourself in regard to this situation that you're coming to the table with. So with the material state, what's the first impressions that you get of that card?
It seems that the person there is pretty contemplative, sort of staring out into the distance. Maybe seems, I don't know if calm's the right word, but thinking, I guess. They seem fairly naked, so that suggests to me like stripped down in a way.
Nice.
Very raw, I guess. It's very busy. Lots of things coming from lots of different directions. So I sort of see this person at the center of all that's coming at them, whether it's, flowers or I don't know what these little flaming things are. But yeah, I don't know, it just seems like there's a lot coming from all directions, and maybe she seems a very androgynous being, is just sort of trying to deal with all that's coming at it in a peaceful way, maybe, or
nice.
Thinking.
All right, so one thing that's fun to think about with the tarot cards is the number. The number 21 is pretty far along in the journey of the major arcana. So you're coming to a place, it's the second to last card as a matter of fact. Oh, no, it is the last card. It is the last card of the major arcana. There's 22 cards in the major arcana, but the Fool is the 0 card. So it speaks to completion or completeness. So in the material state, there's it's speaking to a sense of completeness. The 2 and the 1 add together in numerology, since the number's 21. Those numbers add together to make a 3. And generally, 3s speak to, I'm going to pause this for a second. Maybe not. 3s speak to creativity, creating something. I am going to pause. Maybe not. We'll let them go. That's all right. Other door. We knew that was a possibility. So, right off the bat, I'm not seeing. Does this seem to speak to the material state? I mean, with the busyness too. I mean, your interpretation is more important than the classic.
I mean, I think
meaning.
it does, as far as, forces of things involved in my mother's life right now. I mean, between work and her family and her family, meaning her mother and siblings, but also her family as in her daughters and husband. So that sort of speaks to me, in that way for her. And also for myself a little bit too, because I am also having the same sorts of things coming at me.
Right.
So there's a lot of daily things that are coming at both of us that, we need to try to find peace with.
Right.
And
right.
It seems to be easier for me than for my mother at the moment. But
right. I'll tell you that as a rule, with tarot card readings, I mean, I know that we're discussing this because it's an important aspect of what's happening in your life right now. But with tarot card readings, we really want to focus on the person that's present.
Okay.
And the amount of care and concern and love and disruption that surround the issue that is affecting your mother. I mean, that's where the two intersect.
Okay.
But
then I guess it's the same thing that applies to me. There's just a lot of different things vying for my attention. So, and we're busy with other things in our life that are our day-to-day life. So,
right,
just trying to remain at my center and all of that.
Absolutely.
Difficult.
Absolutely. All right. So the next position, the middle position, describes your emotional state. And it's the 7 of Cups is the card. And is there anything about this card that stands out to you?
Some sort of scary elements, like the snake and the skull in the cup, balanced with some other more less scary things, I guess. The flower in the hand and the house, which speaks to me right now. And then I don't know, the chain is sort of somewhere in the middle. I don't know if it could mean something nefarious. It could mean breaking of chains. I'm not quite sure. And I don't know if that's jewelry or I see pentacles up in the top corner there, but
I think that's some riches.
Yeah, maybe.
That's my interpretation of that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's sort of like a grab bag of positive and negative forces, I guess.
I'll tell you that this cup, the 7 of Cups, the suit of Cups, the element's water, and the cups correspond to the part of your body that's your heart. So your emotions, your intuition, your creativity. Usually they're really pretty good feelings that are encountered in the cups. 7s are interesting. In each of the suits there's a journey. So there's 4 suits: the Wands, Cups, Swords, and Pentacles. And in each of the suits there's 10 numbered cards and then 4 court cards. And 7s, the purpose of a 7 in the journey of the suit is breaking something open. It's like a willful breaking open of something. So the 5s, there's conflict and uncomfortable challenges and uncomfortable feelings. 6s it's that beautiful round number that like heals the brokenness of the 5, but it's also kind of an egg that eventually, if you want to grow and move on, you're going to willfully break it open with the 7. And so, in particular, and because you're thinking of the next step, that's just part of being alive, is that moving forward. So this particular one is often speaking to being in a really dreamy state, or in a state full of fantasy, where in one aspect, well, forget all the different aspects. How would you tell me how that applies to your situation in your emotional state? Can you see where that applies?
I don't know. I can see where my emotions would be a mixed grab bag of things right now, which this seems to be, but as far as like opening things up, as you were talking about, it seems like, that speaks to making sure that I'm letting that stuff out, the emotion out, rather than keeping it in or putting some sort of protective shell on it.
Okay.
But
full disclosure, Marie and I have had conversations before, and I might suggest that with this breaking open, that you're the one that brought this to mind, what you just said. Maybe the breaking open is like the 6 might, the protective shell might be like a protective shell that you've had trying to like keep an even keel in your relationship with your mother. And maybe this difficult time that's going on, it's giving you an opportunity to imagine, like, yes, this is a really difficult time, and yeah, there's a lot of disruption, there's a lot of feelings surrounding it, but like maybe it's asking you to break this open a little bit and envision taking a risk, an emotional risk, so that you can envision a future that's better than the one that you were protecting.
And I think riffing off of that, makes me think that, like you said, maybe it's about taking chances emotionally with my mother to let her know how I'm feeling about whatever's going on in her life, in one way or another, or with her, and not shielding how I really feel, just to keep the status quo, I guess.
This card is about imagining, which is like a really important step to growth. Like, you can't create a new future without first imagining, and this is like imagining lots of different possibilities. And so, it's really easy to find yourself, when you're dealing with difficult emotions and concern for someone that you love, these feelings, these fear, but and maybe this chain to the past or the way things are. But maybe this is just a little reminder that maybe this is also a time to imagine, like, to give yourself the courage to imagine pathways to these other possibilities.
That makes sense.
All right, so the third position is the spiritual state. And this is really interesting. The Hierophant is the card, or the Hierophant. I say Hierophant. It's a 5. It's the Major Arcana card. It's speaking, again, just like the World over here is speaking to like a milestone in spiritual growth that you're engaging with. And 5s often, like I said before, create chafing. That's something that I think about with this card. But there's also some really, really positive and important things that have to go with this card. But before I go into that, can you tell me like what you're getting off of that in regard to the whole spiritual state of the position describes?
Well, obviously the cross sticks out in the middle to me most, because I grew up in a very religious family, so that sort of sticks out to me quite a bit, and it's in the center. I don't know, I see the hand there though too, and it almost seems, I don't know, like a kind of open invitation in a way, like, can I help you, or I don't know, that's what I get from that. Yeah, I don't know, it looks like there's a face a little bit in a way underneath the cross.
Right, kind of like a mask,
yeah,
a little bit.
A little bit, but I'm not sure what to make of that, whether that's somehow associated with the hand in a way, or what, but yeah, I don't know, that's kind of all that I'm getting from that.
So, I can tell you that this particular card generally speaks to systems of learning that are well established. So like the church or higher education that are in place to move large amounts of people in a positive direction. The chafing piece of this comes in where when you're trying to move large groups of people, there's always people that fall in the cracks. But that doesn't necessarily have to be what we focus on with this. I don't want to tell stories out of school, but I believe you're a churchgoer. And the spiritual piece here, to me, because the positions are material state, emotional state, and spiritual state, to me, considering the fact that you do find real value in being part of a church body, that maybe this is talking about information that you can gain or resources that you are gaining or avenues to understanding that are available to you through organized religion or systems of learning.
Sure. Makes sense.
So to kind of pull things together a little bit, if you were going to tell a story, do you think you could tell a story about what's happening in these pictures in regard to what's going on in your relationship with your mom? I don't want to put you on the spot.
I don't know. I just, starting from over here, this would speak to me that I've got a lot of things coming at me in my life, that I'm juggling many balls and trying to remain calm. And then going to the next one, it means that I need to come from maybe my comfort zone here and open up slightly to the possibilities of what could be with my mother, both positive and negative, in order to come to some sort of forward motion of progress. And then by the third card, that may be through my relationship with my church, or people that I know who could help me in some way, whether emotionally or whether that's a counselor or, I don't know, something like that, but that there are hands out there to help me.
Nice.
And I don't have to do it alone.
Nice. I love that. That's a great story.
Thank you.
And I think that that ties these cards together, which is partially what my job is, but I really appreciate that. It was really insightful. I feel like really your